go straight ahead and tell us about yourself and your business and what it is that you do.
Okay, yeah, this feels like kind of confession time, doesn't it?
I
It's
know.
like, hello, my name is Caroline and I am a clinical hypnotherapist. Um, and do you know what? Being a hypnotherapist has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with waving pocket watches or getting people to clap like chickens.
Oh, damn.
So, damn. Do you
That
know what?
was going to be my Friday afternoon entertainment.
Trying to get someone else into the rest of this podcast now. Totally disappointed you.
And what is it that you, I know you're a hypnotherapist, but what is it you do? What do you help people with?
I major in anxiety because that was my own experience of life. That's why I went to see a hypnotherapist myself. So I wouldn't have ever labelled myself as somebody with anxiety. I would be what you call a high functioning anxiety sufferer. I busy to keep myself, keep those awful thoughts away, to, you know, busy brain overthinking, what if this, worrying about all of this. And I never really considered myself as anxious until I got unwell. So about 10 years ago, I got a virus and I just never really recovered from it. I mean, my whole journey with I guess what you might call like the complementary kind of side of therapy started when I used to be a veterinary nurse. So working with animals, I recognised there was something that was a bit missing. We were doing so much of what we could, but there was something that was missing. And so I did a huge amount of training in complementary therapies for animals. And that's what started me in terms of, oh, well, if I'm doing this for them, maybe I should do that for me. So often my first port of call, if I'm physically not well, is I head off to the homeopath. It's my first port of call. It's what I've done since I was in my kind of late teens. So that's, you know, again, it's incredibly empowering because you're putting yourself in a position of control in terms of, oh, right, yeah, this is what I do and this is how it helps. So when I realised that I was at that kind of perimenopausal stage, and it's like, oh, my life, has that really happened to me already? First place I went was to my homeopath to help support the physical aspect of it. Because yeah, I can do a huge amount to support myself mentally, but yeah, the two things are, you know, this is attached to this.
Yeah.
I think we get that sometimes, don't we? So it's important to be able to balance the both. Yeah, and yeah, that virus was just the last thing my body could no longer, because of the level of stress I was putting myself under, that anxiety, and again, you know, when you look back now, I can see where it came from. I'm dyspraxic. Wasn't diagnosed until I was in my 30s, had no idea what that even was. So school was a real struggle for me. I was sat outside the class, you're holding everyone up, you're not good enough, sit out there until you can get it right. No, still wrong, keep trying harder. No, still wrong, keep trying harder. And so the message that I came away from was, I'm not good enough and I need to try harder. And so that's what drove me in my working career. I'm not good enough and I need to try extra hard to try and keep up with everyone else. So that's what I did. I 150% into everything so that nobody would notice that I wasn't as good as everyone else. And I, you know, for me, it was so important that I did jobs that had a greater value. So yeah, I was a veterinary nurse and a dog training instructor for about 6-7 years, and then I worked in charity sector for another 15 years before that virus took hold. But it made it, those kind of jobs also makes it easier to put even more of yourself into it because you feel so strongly about it. I think I'm, you know, I haven't wanted to tell anyone because I think I'm going to get locked up because I think I'm really going crazy. And then when I explained to them about how the brain works, they're like, oh, thank God for that. I'm not going mad. It's like, no, it's just biology. It's just how your brain works. Everyone's brain works like this. And we all have the potential for it to get a little bit out of hand. As a hypnotherapist, a huge amount of what I'm doing is helping people to look at things differently and making that connection for people in a really nice, easy, simple way. I don't think I'd find that as easy if I didn't have a dyspraxic brain.
So always putting a positive spin on things.
Yeah, I used to have these arguments with my dad. He used to have a dad for being too optimistic, and I used to have about him for being too pessimistic.
That's me and my husband. We're completely the same, and he just goes, "Don't start at me with that positive BS." Because I'm like, just imagine it, and it will come. Don't stop. Where are you going to go? What's next?
What is next? Well, actually, Inspire To Change is 10 years old this year, which is
Oh, really?
super, super exciting. So, so actually, there's loads of work going on in the background in terms of, website and brand, and a little bit of refreshing on things just to kind of celebrate our 10 years. For our associates, we want our conference this year to be absolutely amazing. Partly because we haven't had the last two, but also to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. And so that, to me, although part of that journey has obviously been massively important to me, you kind of think, oh, I've wasted years, I could have got there a bit sooner, and therefore helped more people quicker. So that not quite sure entirely how that's going to play out. Probably it's going to be in building the team even more and supporting them. So actually a huge part of my role is coaching my associates, coaching that team, helping them to build their business and for them to develop themselves personally as well, because their business will only grow if they grow. So animals are just such a fundamental part of my life and my well-being that, of course, I bring it into my sessions in terms of those conversations with people. So
I love it. Yeah, I think it's just that way. And also with anxiety, I find if I'm really anxious about delivering a training or something, obviously online at the minute, I'll kind of let the cat be around, because then if I get really stuck or really nervous, I can go, oh, hold on, I just need to pick the cat up, and then people start speaking about the cat, and it kind of takes that focus.
it does. And I think, and that's where I think with my cats always, when people come here for the first time, it's their first session, they're really anxious, they don't know what to expect, they don't really want to talk to somebody, and actually just being able for them to talk to the cat, they don't have to have eye contact with me, they can talk to the cat, they can say, oh, it's so lovely, it just brings everything down, and then we can have a conversation. So I kind of, they're part of my team, they do a fantastic job, and they're really intuitive. Do you know what? We all need to make a living. Otherwise, I couldn't do this. I'd have to go back and do a job. So yes, but for me, and actually that's one of the things that when I'm coaching my associates is I very kind of like quickly get them away from, right, okay, so this is how much you need to earn, but actually let's look at that in terms of people. How many people is that you're going to be helping? And how does that enable you to live your best life? Because when you're living your best life, you're able to support other people to find their best life as well. So we very quickly kind of take things away from that kind of monetary thing. It's it's all got to be done. We all need to earn money, but that's not what drives us.
If someone is out there listening to this and your story has really resonated with them in the fact of they're either looking at hypnotherapy as a treatment or they're looking at it for a career, what would your advice be to them people?
Oh, well, okay. So if you're interested in hypnotherapy and in terms of how it might help you as an individual, then I would absolutely go to my YouTube, go to my Facebook page. There is so much free stuff that I have on there in terms of videos and content that help you to know more about your brain, how it works, how it impacts you, and so many tips in terms of what you can do to help yourself. So there's loads, and I'm so passionate about having this information out there for people to be able to help themselves. It's been wonderful.
And you're back in a couple of weeks, aren't you? And you're going to be delivering a training session. Do you want to tell us about that quickly?
So I am going to give you the instruction manual for your brain. Yay. How wonderful. I know, no one ever gives you that. You just have to kind of muddle along and hope you get it right. But actually, we're going to be looking at how we can train our brains for success, because that's really what we're all after, isn't it? Everyone wants success, and it doesn't matter. Success doesn't have to be about money. Success is about us living the life that we want to. And we often get it the wrong way around, don't we? It's kind of like, when I'm successful, then I'll be happy.
Yes.
Do you know what? We've got it completely the wrong way around. All of the science, all of our understanding about our brains tell us, do you know what? We need to work on being happy first, because then the success bit just happens naturally. because that's what our brain needs in order for us to function at our best. So I'm going to be giving a little bit of that kind of understanding of the brain and some brilliant tips to help get your brain working better, so we can increase your happiness and your success, and take control of this noggin rather than it taking control of us. Yeah.
I love that. I am so excited. I love your energy. I really do. I just think I heard you speak in Tamara's group. It was was it a couple of months ago? I don't know this year. I don't know where this year's gone.
I know, time's doing a weird thing, isn't it?
But I knew then that I wanted you to come on the podcast and to come in the group, because I just think your energy is amazing, and the way you explain things, it really does get you thinking about different ways of helping yourself.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you. It always it's such a lovely thing for me. People often comment on my energy, and for somebody who has struggled with ME, when I hear that, for me, it's just the biggest validation of all the work that I've done to help myself, to then be able to enable others as well.
Aww. It's been lovely speaking to you, and I'll speak to you soon.
I will. Take care, Michelle. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.